You are listening to the WATSNEX Podcast, where visionary leaders in business and technology share what it actually takes to grow, scale, and create real value. I am Pascal Cote, founder and CEO of WATSNEX Biopharma, and today I am joined by Kerry Morgan, a partner at Newport LLC, a national business advisory firm of 50 seasoned C-suite executives who advise founder-led companies on growth, positioning, leadership, and exit strategy. Kerry has spent 35 years building brands and aligning leadership teams across telecom, government, contracting, nonprofits, and now CEO advisory. Today, we're going to talk about something that does not come enough: why the companies struggling most with AI are not struggling with technology at all. They are struggling with leadership. Stay with us. Kerry, welcome to the What's Next podcast. Really glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Pascal. I'm excited to be here. Great conversation.
Thank you. Before we get into the substance, I want to give our audience a sense of the path you have walked. MCI, when email and cell phones were just emerging. Then you helped launch and name what became Verizon, nonprofit work helping prisoners re-enter society, Booz Allen, CMO roles, and now you are advising CEOs through Newport. What is the thread that connects all of that?
Whenever I hear that list, it does sound kind of crazy because it's a mixed bag for sure. But I think the thread is that I really love to fix complex organizational challenges. And the way I kind of look at it is I tend to run to the fire. So if you tell me that your organization has a challenge that no one's quite been able to figure out, that's the organization I want to go help.
Hmm, that's great. So you like challenges.
I love it. It
That's
keeps
great.
your mind active.
Yeah, for sure. So tell our listeners a bit about what Newport actually is. 50 experienced C-suite executive. Each of you has held a C-suite role, done consulting, and served on a board. How does that depth change the quality of advice a founder gets?
Yeah, so Newport is really a very unique organization, I believe, because we really do come from a cross section of just about every industry that you could imagine. And when we're working with founders, we find that founders are visionary. They see a specific need, they know they can fill. And really, all of our partners have worked their way up from the trenches and they learned a lot of hard lessons on the way. So, between just about all of us, certainly for myself, we've survived launches, layoffs, really fierce competitors, bankruptcies, mergers, acquisitions, you name it. And all of those things build the experience that is stays with you for a lifetime.
Hmm. He told me a story in our first conversation that I have been thinking about since. You helped the founder realize they did not have a financial problem, that they had a culture problem. What did that look like?
So that was a very unique situation because the culture problem kind of presented itself in a lot of different ways. And honestly, the first clue was just the general appearance of the facilities of this particular organization. Everything was very cluttered, it wasn't very clean. There was furniture piled up in gathering spaces where prospects were coming in, old magazines in waiting rooms. It just really looked uncared for and unkept. And that prompted me to have a request to interview all the department heads. And within just a few minutes, um, there was a lot of finger pointing with each of the department heads, and a real lack of ownership. And honestly, just pulling those little threads together, I was able to show the CEO that the culture is where we needed to start before we were going to be able to fix any of their growth issues.
Hmm. Thank you. That's a great example. You said something in our first conversation that I cannot stop thinking about. You said that AI is exposing leadership issues, not creating them. Everyone, everyone is focused on the technology and no one is asking how to lead it. What does that actually look like when you walk into a client engagement today?
Hmm. It's different with each client, but I would say that the starting point is often that founders believe that the use they've come up with for AI is the first of its kind. And that is positioning issues because there's very few ideas or AI uses that no one's ever thought of. Um, Somebody's had the idea, they may not have put it into action or put it into action quite the way you have. But um, but yeah, I would say that's the starting point. And then the next is that um, you know, leaders have assembled the leaders that you've assembled need to have accountability for delivering on their role. So if you're the founder and the CEO, it's you that needs to define the role and the responsibilities, set the timelines, and drive them. And I think a lot of founders who are starting AI businesses get so excited about the AI that they forget that they've actually got to lead the leaders that they've pulled together.
Mm. And you use the phrase squirrel syndrome. Could you say more about that and what does it actually cost a company when the founder is chasing every new AI tool instead of staying on the core business?
Yes, my goodness. I would say at least half of the clients that I've worked with, I see a lot of squirrel syndrome. And it's that either there's a new potential customer target that they think they identify because they just happen to meet somebody at a cocktail party that seemed interested. So now they think that's another place they can sell. And it takes their focus off the true um, ICP, or it's a function of just getting so excited about what the AI is able to do that again they forget about all the other aspects of the company that have to get set in place so that the AI can just be the thing that you're selling and not the thing that you're trying to manage.
Hmm. And you described that founders using AI on the edges of their business, generating marketing videos or social content, while the core product still has unresolved problems. How do you get a founder to stop and focus on what matters?
So that's the toughest one for me, to be honest. I always laugh just thinking about trying to tackle it. And what I've realized is it's the answer starts with the product developers. So what I'll typically do is just stop and chat with the product development team and figure out, okay, what is it you're seeing that's keeping you from getting the product to the next stage? And it can be any number of things. Um, Often it's just training the AI model or gaining clarity on what specific aspect of what you're trying to build needs further refinement. Um, because the development team often is almost put in their own little dark room and they aren't hearing all the conversations going on. So keeping them more integrated into everything really does help address those kinds of issues.
Mm-hmm. You also told me that one of the first thing you do with a new client is ask them about who their competitors are, and you usually get one name, maybe none, and you come back to them with 20 or 40. Why does that keep happening even now when AI tools can research a market in seconds?
I think it's because most entrepreneurs, they start their business because they think they have a new idea and that nobody's ever had that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so while the idea may be new, the buyer isn't always able to make the distinction between the nuances of what it is you're building in your business and something else that's aimed at the same ideal customer. And somehow there's this just constant miss going on. I'm a big fan of the book Blue Ocean Strategy. And one of the stories in that book is about how Yellowtail wine was a wine that basically, if you think about all the wines in the world and all the places those wines are marketing, and for years, buyers didn't understand that they don't have to be a sommelier to be able to buy a bottle of wine. But it was always this mystique that it was wrapped in. And Yellowtail said, we're not going to do that. We're just going to make a cheaper wine that still tastes good and market it as if anybody can buy a wine, anyone can figure it out. Um, and I think it's a great example of just understanding that there's always going to be competition and you've got to figure out what is unique about what it is you're trying to sell.
Mm-hmm. Would you agree that sometimes, as much as founders are aware of the tools that are available to them, they don't necessarily know how to use them or to question them or to prompt them, and that is something that lack in their expertise or abilities?
Absolutely. And that's also where, um, you know, advisors like we have at Newport, if we see holes in where somebody is not understanding how to use tools, and we ourselves aren't experts in every single thing out there, then we will pull in another Newport partner or somebody, a referral partner we have in the market, and just
Mm-hmm.
help that organization kind of get them squared away in whatever it is that they're trying to um, utilize. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
can be an expert on everything, and we all need each other to make our businesses effective.
So you have to be quite resourceful uh, to be a Newport partner, and also uh, really in a collaborative space to really make it happen. You really need to be surrounded by the best that can help you deliver what the results that your clients expect from you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm. You mentioned that teams become siloed when AI comes in because the people training the models are separated from the people who understand the customer. How do you break those silos open?
So I was I was thinking the other day about how most people are using AI today. And in fact, I do this myself. So I'll ask AI, whether it's Claude or Chat or whatever, I'll ask it random questions, all kinds of random questions.
Mm-hmm.
and I'll see what kind of answers I get. And some of the things I'm asking, I have a pretty good sense of what the answer is. And some of them I'm not. But what I'll do is I'll question things just to see if it's reacting and responding to the way I'm questioning. And I think that's true for all kinds of AI use cases. You have to fill the model with all kinds of scenarios so you can see where it's struggling and you can help correct those points of struggle. You've got, I mean, it's going to keep learning, is that's the nature of it. And if it's not getting fed with different scenarios, it can't keep learning.
Mm-hmm. That's something we run into constantly on the AI integration side. The technology is really the hardest part. The hardest part is
Mhm.
getting alignment on what the problem we actually are solving before we build anything. Uh,
Yes.
what you're describing on the advisory side and what we do on the AI implementation side are really the same challenge from two different angles.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. Which is another example of why we need both sides, right? You've got to have the experts in figuring out what the challenges are and how to build the tools that'll address them, and then you need the people to see the other challenges of delivering that tool and how
Mhm.
to address all of those.
Let's switch gear. You work at MCI and they required every single employee, including the cafeteria staff, to document what they had done to innovate that year. This is quite exciting approach.
What it is.
Uh, what does a CEO need to do today to build that same culture of accountability around AI?
So I always think about AI is a tool. It's not a solution. And I really believe it amplifies execution. It doesn't fix strategy. And
Mm-hmm.
so I loved that MCI made us put that on our review every year. What did you do to innovate this year? And I think it's it was part of the DNA and the strategy of the organization. And a CEO needs to be able to figure that out for his own company, his or her own company. They have to figure out, okay, we've got the tool, the AI tool. Now we've got to figure out, okay, what is the way we're going to keep our team founded on the execution they need to deliver on the overall corporate strategy?
Mm-hmm. Newport helps companies grow and realize their value, which sometimes means positioning them for PE acquisition or family succession. Uh, how has AI changed what investment really actually looks like to a private equity firm today?
So I think there's so many great tools out there for AI to help with a founder, and it can create a great pitch, but it can't create a great business. And so, um, I don't think that AI is changing what makes a company investment ready. It's more just helping the investors determine whether you're ready. Um, and so, yeah, I think it's just a function of um, the PE firm can see if the founder understands the market more clearly, if they're able to kind of isolate what the tool is being developed with what the investor pitch looks like.
Mm-hmm. You also mentioned a client in the medical equipment space for hospitals who has generally great product but keeps feeling like they are talking to the wrong people. What does it cost a company in real terms to keep targeting the wrong audience?
Yeah, so that is it's funny. You should be able to answer that one, Pascal, with your great new tool that you've built.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really feel if the ICP is wrong, then everything becomes more expensive. You've got longer sales cycles, you have higher marketing costs because you keep throwing dollars at new campaigns when you're not going after the right um, buyer. I also think it can really adjust or distort the product roadmap because if you've got the wrong buyer reacting to something that you're trying to launch as a new feature, then you might work on developing that new feature when that isn't at all what the real ICP needs. So um, I see having the wrong ICP as it's another mistake that AI cannot fix. So AI can't really ID whether you have the right buyer, the influencer, the user. Um, it's it's the person who has to be able to figure out if you're solving the right person's problems. Otherwise, you're selling uphill.
You're right. I mean, from our experience, you have some sort of ICP of idea at the beginning or initial idea for about the ICP, but again, it's not going to replace the experience and the expertise that the marketing and the branding team brings, such as yourself, and it's uh, with the initial ICP, you refine it along the process to see how responsive and how the lead qualify or score against certain criteria
Mm-hmm.
that you establish, and the performance of your marketing or lead generation will be refined as you move along the process, and your ICP evolves along the process as well. So
Right.
this is not fixed. I mean, this is something, but as you said, we have the tools, and we need the right people to lead and operate those tools.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
If you had to identify the single thing that separates a company that successfully integrates AI from one that gets swallowed by it, what is it?
Um, I would say that they treat AI as an accelerator and not as a strategy. So AI helps you get to your destination, but it's not the destination. I think that's probably the number one rule for founders to keep in mind.
Hmm. And again, it does not replace the leadership, the culture, or the clarity of purpose as well.
No, not at all.
Hmm. And a few questions. We call it the quick fire, so like short questions here.
Okay.
Best advice, best piece of advice you ever got about building a brand.
Ooh, best piece of advice I ever got is know your competition.
Hmm.
Um, I I really that's the first place I start because you cannot build a brand effectively if you don't know who you're up against.
Hmm. The AI tool you use every day that you could not live without.
I have to say it's Chat GPT.
That's good.
Yes, it's even helped me learn how to make sure that I'm taking good care of my heirloom African violets. So I'm a
Ah,
big fan.
that's good. If you could fix one thing holding founder-led business back right now, what would it be?
If I could fix one thing holding founder-led businesses back, I would say fix the founder. No, what I mean by that is I I do believe that founders need to take the time to really lay out how they're going to build their business in addition to whatever it is that they're building to sell. And
Mm,
I just see again and again and again that piece just not getting the attention it needs. Years ago, I founded my own consulting business, and I probably spent 4 months just trying to figure out exactly how I was going to position myself based on the competition, and then what was the business I was building going to look like. And because I already had that in place, I was able to take on clients very quickly and serve them with what it is I needed to be serving them with instead of wasting a lot of time kind of spinning and figuring out how do I present all the different pieces of information that we're working on together.
mhm. Best way to spot a founder who is ready to scale versus one who thinks they are.
Well, there's money. That's one. But the other is a founder who understands that they need a team, is going to be able to scale more effectively than one that thinks they can do it on their own or with a really scrappy number of people. I'm not suggesting that you can't grow a business with just a few people, but if that's how you're going to get started, you need to take accountability for what everybody's role is and make sure that there's some kind of structure to how you're working.
Mhm. And the one thing CEOs never want to hear, but always need to.
Oh boy. How about you're not always right?
Ah, so they need to learn humility.
Exactly. There you go. We'll use that.
Humbleness, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Coachability, huh? You were saying last time?
Coachability, that is, yes, very important.
Mm,
We all need a coach, right?
for
And
sure.
there are, I can say the more successful founders are the ones who understand that and who are willing to hear where maybe they're not stepping up.
Kerry, this has been a generally great conversation. For anyone listening who wants to work with Newport or connect with Kerry, where do they find you?
They can find me at, well, certainly on LinkedIn. Check out some of my posts. I'm always posting about experiences with founders, but you can find me also at Kerry.Morgan at NewportLLC.com, and it's Kerry.
Thank you, Kerry. You have given our audience a lot to think about, and you have given me a lot to think about too.
Well, Pascal,
So,
I'm always here to help.
thank you. That is a wrap on today's episode of the What's Next podcast. Kerry Morgan reminded us that the companies struggling with AI are really struggling with technology. They are struggling with alignment, with knowing who their customer is, with building the internal culture that can actually carry an AI initiative forward. If any of that sounds familiar, you know where to start. That is where Newport comes in on the advisory side, and that is where WATSNEX Biopharma comes in on the implementation side. If you want to explore what AI-powered lead generation, process automation, or operational efficiency could look like for your business, find us at watsnexbiopharma.com, WATSNEX biopharma.com. Until next time, thank you very much.